Okay, stand up all. Right. Good morning, everybody. Okay, sit down. So, this is the first day of grade 11 class, and we have some stuffs to cover up in the grade 10 and grade uh, 10. We did some, we just left off some lessons, few lessons, right? Don't worry about that. In future, we will have some extra time during that vacations, so we can cover up that last two lessons. Okay. So the plan, I just want to explain this year's plan, right? Basically, 1 minute, right? Okay. It was switched off. Right. Basically, we will do physical and online class together. I mean, Saturday 8 o'clock, you can visit the physical class 8 a.m. and same one can be watched again at around 8 a.m. or the after 8 a.m. Sunday. This is at Saturday. This is in Sunday, right? Just before 8 o'clock, I will upload the same recording of the same video, so you can watch it as a repeat class. Okay. For physical, the students in the physical online class, this the video lessons are free, right? From next year onwards, we will make a special platform to watch the videos. You can make your own personal account, and through that account you can refer all the lessons that we are doing throughout the year. Okay. Therefore, that will be an advantage to you. Main advantage is somehow if you unable to attend the physical classes, you can cover up the lesson in the online lesson, that recording you can watch it. Okay. And the other one is if you are coming to the Sunday class, as an online student, then also for the online students who are watching this one, they also, they should come to the Friday Zoom class. Right, wait a bit. Zoom class Friday, we will held the Zoom class at 5 o'clock, 5 p.m. So you also can come to that, no matter. Then what about the worksheets, right? Worksheet plan. Today we can't do a worksheet because we haven't studied any. We haven't done a previous lesson of, this is the first lesson of grade 11. Therefore, we can't do the worksheets today. And the worksheet can be, we will upload the worksheet tomorrow to your WhatsApp group. And also once we make that common website, in the website, once you watch the video, with the video, this worksheet also will be attached. Okay. You can download the worksheet. Definitely you must download the, as if you are a physical class student or an online class student, anyone should do the worksheet within that week. Okay. Then as an example, today we are starting the first lesson. Once we do the first lesson, then we will cover up certain part of this, around 1/3 of this one. So regarding that content, I will upload a worksheet. Okay. And next week, for the physical class students, right, very next week, just after that, very next week, we will discuss the worksheet in the class itself. Okay. So you should have to keep a separate book to write the answers for the worksheets. You can, if you want to take the printouts, you can take printouts and paste there. I'm not providing the printed materials for that. Okay. So you have to, we did that one in the last year also, you are familiar with it. But we are bringing that to the physical class as well. Therefore, in the physical class next week, we will discuss the answers for that. Once we finish the lesson, right, around 9:30, we will finish the theory lesson. Thereafter, we can discuss the worksheet, answers for the worksheet in the physical class, right? And somehow, if you miss the physical class, and if you are attending the Sunday online class, then worksheet will be discussed in the Zoom meeting. The online students definitely should do the worksheet before the Friday. I mean the before Friday Zoom meeting, because we are discussing the worksheet, and we will discuss the questions that is arisen within the lesson in the Friday. Okay, so then you can change. If you want to change to the online class, you can just change to the online class. There are 3 plans I just uploaded to the worksheet. The WhatsApp group. I think you just referred that PDF file. So that is the process. Then I took around 5 minutes to explain the process. I think it is clear to you. Do you want to ask something else? No problems then. So then if you are a physical class students, then you can continue this plan continuously. Also, there is no barrier to change into the other class in an absence. Okay, so we will start grade 11 with a sound plan. I mean the kind of better schedule than the previous year also we did kind of different style of lessons, and this year also we can definitely continue that process. So this is the due that you have received. So the online students, you might have collected that from the class. Also someone who's registered distance students, we just posted this due to you. Then you will receive it next year, next week. So let's start the first one. Okay. um, this is or this lesson, I mean when we consider the lessons or our syllabus in grade 11, number of units are lesser than the grade 10. There are 20 units in grade 10, but here we have to finish only 15. But although there are less number of units, the content is similar. I mean those units have kind of weight on them. We have first two, there are 2 lessons. First two, I mean the unit number 1 and 2. They are small units. They are about the biology. Thereafter we will expose to the chemistry and physics lessons thereafter. Okay, and this lesson and the unit number 2, these 2 units will be comparatively simple. So let's see our plan this year's this year's lesson plan. I think you can see that on the screen. Okay, here are the units that we need to complete within this year: living tissues, photosynthesis, mixtures, waves and their applications, geometrical optics, biological process of human body. This is a long lesson, and these 3 actually 4, 5, 6 are long lessons. Acids, bases, salts, chemical heat changes, heat and the power and energy of electric appliances, electronic, electrochemistry, electromagnetism. Most of them are P6 units, right? And hydrocarbons and the biosphere, the last one. So this is our plan, and today we will start this one. It's about living tissues. And once we take the term tissues, it is not a new term to us, because in grade 7 we learned this term for the first time. There was a lesson in grade 7. Also it was repeated in grade 10, which is called the organizational levels of organisms. Now, what is the simplest organizational level of organism? Simplest one? Cell, yeah. Cells are the simplest. Cells together form? Yeah, hurry up. Tissues. Tissues form? Organs. Organs then? Systems. Then? Organisms. Right? So, cell is the basic building unit of the living being. Tissues, the next level. Right? In this lesson, we will learn about the tissues. When we take tissues, first we can go for simple introduction for the tissues and what is called a tissue. We can see tissues in multicellular organisms. Right? It is not a special thing, but that is kind of a special point that we need to discuss, because In unicellular organisms, tissues can't can't be seen. Reason? Unicellular organisms have only one cell. So group of cells cannot make in them. Simple fact. So in any type of multicellular organism, we can see different kinds of tissues. Basically, when talking about the multicellular organisms, we discuss about two types of multicellular organisms. One, the plants, other one, animals. Plants and animals, they are the multicellular organisms. Therefore, we can see plant cells and animal cells. Plant cells and animal cells. Also, plant tissues and animal tissues. Right. Then what is a tissue? Right. See this. Basically, in this is today's content. I mean, today I hope to discuss these contents out of out of the things given in the tude. Number 1.1, that is plant tissues. 1.1 is the only content that we discussed today. There are three types of plant tissues: meristematic, simple permanent tissues, and complex permanent. Basically, meristematics and permanent, and there are two types of permanent tissues: simple permanent tissues and complex permanent tissues. That's what we need to discuss today. What is a tissue? That's the first question. Look at this. Here there is a cell, right? Single cell. But when many cells come together, many similar cells come together, then they will form a kind of group of cells. But still, this is not a tissue, right? If something need to be a tissue, these cells should attach together or stay together. So there should be a kind of filling material in between that, okay, or kind of matrix material which bond these things together, right? So still this is not a tissue. It becomes a tissue when it is filled with this matrix. So intercellular matrix and group of similar cells with intercellular matrix or intercellular substances can be called a tissue. There are two other points to highlight. Number one, it performs or it adapted to perform a particular function. Okay. Number two, those cells have kind of same origin. Their original cell is same one. Normally we call those cells as the germinal cells. Got it? Therefore, these are the basic facts. Now we can go for the particular definition, description. Number one, tissue is a group of cells, group of similar cells, right? Let's write that. One key point, group. Second, similar. Sorry. Yes. Similar. Third, group of similar cells. Third one, they have a common function and they have common origin. Got it? If these four are included in your definition, then this is a kind of accurate answer if you are giving that as an answer for the exam. Okay, let's write that. First one, a tissue is a group of similar cells. A tissue is a group of similar cells. A tissue is a group of similar cells from the same origin. Group of similar cells from the same origin, that together carry out a specific function, that together carry out a specific function, that together carry out a specific function. Right. Then we can come to our next title, the main point. As I mentioned, we will discuss about the plant tissues, right? So today's lesson mainly dedicate for that, right? So there are several objectives to discuss about the uh, the plant tissues. Basically, let's introduce the types of plant tissues, right? 1.1 in the first page, you can see there's a concept map, right? Let's talk about different types of plant tissues. 1 minute till I switch on the camera. Right, you can see that on the screen there. Plant tissues. This is how we classify them. Okay. Number one, we basically divide plant tissues to two groups as meristematic tissues and permanent tissues. Right. You can complete it now itself. No. We can describe the meanings of them. First one meristematic tissue, other one permanent tissues. Meristematic tissues and permanent tissues. Complete the concept map in page number 1. Finished? Okay. Then permanent tissues are again two types. I think you can remember that at the beginning I introduced simple permanent and complex permanent. Simple permanent tissues and complex permanent tissues. Simple permanent and complex permanent. Finished? Then simple permanents are three types. These words are somewhat unfamiliar ones to us. I mean, we haven't seen or heard these terms in previous grades. Number one, parenchyma. Parenchyma tissue. Simple permanents are three types. First one, parenchyma. Write them. Number two, collenchyma. Collenchyma. Parenchyma, collenchyma. Number three, sclerenchyma. Sclerenchyma. Then complex permanents, xylem and phloem. Complex permanents are two types, xylem tissue and phloem tissue. These two are slightly familiar. I mean, we have heard that one in grade 7, even we learned about the xylem and phloem. Right, then today we can talk about each and every simple permanent and complex permanent tissues, and basically we will discuss these facts. Number one, their features or characteristics, and then their adaptations. Number three, features, adaptations, and then functions. Functions. and we stated each and every tissue adapted to particular function, right? Therefore we can talk about their functions. I think this is not functions, no, functions. Last one, we can talk about their distribution. How they are distributed and where they are distributed, or in which part of the plant they are found or the available, right? These are the factors we are going to talk about under this, right? Then let's move on to the first topic, again still in page number 1, no? First one, meristematic tissues. Meristematic means not matured, right? More simple meaning is that. Then not matured means each and every cell start or the originate as a young cell due to the division of a cell, right? Usually I mean the vegetative cells or somatic cells means the growing cells, right? When a plant is growing from the original cell, the original cells will be divided, right? By which process? Meiosis or mitosis? In vegetative growth, it is mitosis, not meiosis. In vegetative growth, they are divided by mitosis, making similar copies, right? Or 2n copies or diploid copies, right? And at the beginning, they are dividing, right? Basically divide into the two cells. But that division is the cell division. Thereafter, there is a part we discussed called the cell development, and what is the other one? Growth and development. First growth, then development. No, first division, cells divide, then they will grow, increase in size. The other fact is the development. Development means getting advanced, right? Performing particular functions. They become advanced. So development or getting advanced, when in the advancement they can convert into different tissues. But before they convert to the or adapt to the tissues, they exist as the meristematic tissues. Is it clear? That is why we call them, they are immature, right? Immature cells, not matured yet, right? Then let's see the basic types of them, meristematic tissues. When you take a plant, we can see some growing areas. We can especially highlight some areas. Number one is this apex, this part, right? There is a meristem found in this place which is called apical meristem, right? That is the apex of the shoot system. This is the root system, and root system also newly growing downwards or towards the ground. I mean towards the earth. It's called the kind of a positive geotrophic movement, positively growing towards the ground. And this one grows up, other one the root. In roots also, root tips also, we can see the apical meristem. Okay, they are growing downwards just like this. So there's another growth take place here at the middle of the plant to increase its height. Okay, so this is the slice or the part of this stem. There are tissues, meristematic tissues found in at the middle of this. Those are called intercalary meristem. Intercalary meristem led the plant to grow up and down. They add cells to upwards and downwards, right? Upwards and downwards. That means the plant height will be increased. Next fact, here there is a ring. This ring is called cambium, and it can be added. It can add cells inwards or outwards. When adding, that is called the lateral meristem. When adding, the thickness of the stem increase. Thickness. Okay. Therefore, meristematic tissues are three types: apical meristem, intercalary meristem, and lateral meristem. This figure is given in your tute, page number 1, right, which highlights the apical meristem, intercalary meristem, disc-like meristem, and the lateral meristem. Lateral meristem look like a ring. Okay, right. Then basic things. These cells that have the ability to divide, they can further divide. Next one, meristems give rise to the permanent tissues. Later on, they will convert to permanent tissues. Right? Okay, write these 2 points. First point, these are cells that have the ability to divide. These are cells that have the ability to divide. These are cells that have the ability to divide. Next point. Meristems give rise to permanent tissues. Meristems give rise to permanent tissues. Meristems give rise to permanent tissues. Now we can see their basic characteristics. See the next slide. Characteristics. Number 1, they have ability to divide, and also they are simple cells, right? We can't see much details in the cells. Number 2, they have ability to divide, and also they will further mature by into permanent tissues, and they are packed tightly and closely, right? Tightly packed like this. First feature, cells are small. Cells are small. Second, the cell walls are thin. The cell walls are thin. The cell walls are thin. Third, cells have large nuclei. Here in the second figure you can see this. Cells have large nuclei. If I zoom that one, you can see it. Can you see? When compared to the size of the cell, the nucleus is large. Large nuclei. Nuclei is the plural word of the nucleus. Right. Last one. There are no intercellular spaces. Tightly packed. There are no intercellular spaces. There are no intercellular spaces. Right. Then let's go to the next. Have you finished? No, still you are writing, no? Right. Finish it. Okay. Let's go to the next. Distribution. Where can we find them? We saw the places, right? These are the places, no? One, the apex, root tips, and also around the cambium, or within the inside the stem, right? As a ring, we can see that. Those are the places where it's found. Still, we are in page number 1. So, right, first one, near tips of roots and stem. Near tips of roots and stem. Near tips of roots and stems. That is the apical meristem, no? Next one, intercalary meristem. Intercalary meristem is distributed in the buds and nodes of the stems. In the buds and nodes of the stem. Number 3, lateral meristem found in the cambium, that ring, cambium between the xylem and phloem, right? In the cambium between xylem and phloem, and in the pericycle of roots, cambium between xylem and phloem, and in the pericycle of roots, that is how meristematic tissue is distributed. So this is the end of one section. We will move on to the page number 2. It's about simple permanent tissues. Permanent tissues are again two types. And why do we call the permanent tissues as a simple permanent or complex permanent? There is a reason for this. Right, I'll write it somewhere here. Reason is, in simple permanent tissues we can see only one type of cells, right? If there are parenchyma cells, only parenchyma cells are existing in the parenchyma tissue. Therefore, similar cells, similar type of cells, or only one type of cell found, and they are adapted to perform that particular function. In complex permanent tissues, there are different type of cells together form different functions, different type of cells, not the similar ones, right? Xylem and phloem are the examples for such ones. We learned that. So remember, this is the difference between simple permanent and complex permanent. Complex permanent cells have only one type of cells. Simple permanent cell have one type of cells. Complex permanents have many type of cells. Right. Then first simple permanent tissue is what? Parenchyma tissue. Okay. Let's go to the parenchyma tissue. Right. Here's the next slide. Parenchyma tissue. Let's see the basic characteristics, right? By looking at their the shapes, cell shapes especially. Look at the shape of the cell. They look like the round ones. Here we can see them as circles because we are seeing only two-dimensional 2D view. If it is three-dimensionally, they looks like spherical, like balls. Okay, spherical ones. And there are some features. And as they are the plant cells, we can see the cell wall as the border. That dark green color one is the cell wall, right? And here you can see kind of, this is cross section, and this is a lateral section. Okay. First thing, thin primary wall is seen. Primary wall means only a basic wall made of the cellulose. Primary wall. Next feature, nucleus is seen. That means cell is living. Okay, a living cell. Vacuoles, comparatively large vacuoles. Can you see this large vacuole? That light color one is the vacuole. And starch grains means they can store food, right? Starch grains are the small bubbles of starch, storage of food. And cytoplasm is seen. Clearly we can see these stuffs, and when I zoom this, then you can see these features in the cell clearly. The large vacuole, nucleus, starch grains, and they are nicely visible here, right? Then let's write the basic characteristics first, right? The thin-walled parenchyma cells, have large vacuoles. The thin-walled parenchyma cells have large vacuoles and distinct intercellular spaces. And distinct intercellular spaces. Large vacuoles and distinct intercellular spaces. Distinct intercellular spaces. Next, functions. The storage of food and water. Storage of food and water. Number 2, the air spaces. These spaces, look at these air spaces. They are called intercellular spaces, right? The air spaces permit gaseous exchange. The air spaces permits gaseous exchange. Right, that's the end, the basic introduction of the parenchyma tissue. Then we have to discuss the adaptations. I mentioned when talking about this, we will discuss the features. Now we know the features. They are round shaped cells, living cells, and also there are large vacuoles and intercellular spaces, right? And then adaptations, right? When talking about the adaptations, we can see many features. Turn to the page number 2. You can see these adaptations and they are described here, right? Then I am going to show you these adaptations, so we will discuss them with kind of graphic here. They are basic adaptations, right? Then you can leisurely read these introductions, right? We will talk about them. Look at the adaptations. This is a simple diagram. We have to draw a diagram thereafter. Okay, we will draw a simple diagram of a parenchyma cell, right? One factor is thin wall. They are made of cellulose, and thin walls permit exchanging matter between that by osmosis or diffusion, or maybe active transportation. They can exchange the matter, right? Thin wall is an adaptation to exchange the matter. That is given in the tute as the first point. Second one, these intercellular spaces, right? One thing, especially this is important to exchange of gases, right? This is especially important for the exchange of gases because having intercellular spaces provide extra space for the gas exchange. Therefore, carbon dioxide or oxygen gas can pass through this tissue. Next one, central vacuole. Central vacuole provide rigidity, or we call cell become turgid, means water can be filled in this. Water, just like a balloon filled with water, right? Kind of turgidity comes with this. That is one advantage, one adaptation. And also different materials in the central vacuole uh, just help to maintain the ion balance, or maybe sometimes waste matters can be stored in this. Okay, for that one also central vacuole is important. Those points are given as the third point, the central vacuole, right? And in the soft parts of the plants, the support comes with the vacuole, right? If I describe it further, when you fill, without filling a balloon with air or water, the balloon can be kept up. I mean, it can't stand erect. But once you fill water into a balloon, then it can stand erect, right? This tissue is found in the soft parts of the plant, like the leaf blade or like the soft pith of the plants, and those parts stay blown, we call, right, filled with water because of what? Because of the vacuole. Because of the vacuole. Okay, let's go to the next. Presence of chlorophyll. Most of these tissues present the chlorophyll in them. What is the advantage of this? What is the advantage provided by the chlorophyll to a plant? They can do photosynthesis, yes. So this tissue is a photosynthetic tissue, can do photosynthesis. Last, ability to divide. Further, they can divide into new cells. So cell growth can take place. Right. Those adaptations are given here. Especially this ability to divide, division ability is important for the replacement, repairing of the tissues. Okay, let's go to the next, distribution. We discussed about the distribution slightly, but look at these places. When talking about the stem, we can see these tissues distributed in two places in the stem, right? I think similar diagram is given in the tute. You can see a diagram of a stem. Number one, this cortex, right? Cortex is made of parenchyma, the soft part of the stem, and this pith, innermost part, also soft. Cortex and pith is made of these tissues, parenchyma tissues. And these ones, leaf blade. Look at these cells, right? Look at this. This is the epidermis. I will zoom this. Epidermis, and just under that there are palisade mesophyll cells. They are parenchyma cells. Spongy mesophyll cells. They are parenchyma cells. So almost the leaf blade is made of parenchyma cells, right? And in soft fruits like tomato, guava, apple, or some such things, we can see a soft part called pith. That's the tasty part that we eat. No, that soft pith is made of parenchyma cells. So easily you can see those diagrams, and those are the places where parenchyma tissue is distributed. Write them down. Cortex and pith of a plant stem. Cortex and pith of plant stem. Cortex and pith of plant stem. Cortex and pith of plant stem. Next, pith and cortex of roots. Pith and cortex of roots. Pith and cortex of roots. Next, fleshy parts of fruits. Fleshy parts of fruits. Fleshy parts of fruits. Next, seeds. Endoderm of the seed. Leaves, mesophylls. In seeds, endoderm. In leaves, mesophyll. There are soft seeds. I mean the seeds which has a soft inside, just like that peanuts, right? Or such ones. There's soft part inside. There's a soft part. No? That soft part is made of parenchyma. Okay. So this is the time to write the draw a diagram. Page number 2. You can see there's a small box given, right? Take a pencil. If you don't have a pencil, please request one from us. Don't draw it with a pen. Okay. And as we saw, there are round cells with intercellular spaces. Round cells with intercellular spaces. And we can draw some adjacent cells also. They are not incomplete. That means it can be extended further. And inside we can see a nucleus. Clearly we can see a nucleus and a vacuole. Nucleus and a vacuole. Right? Vacuole and nucleus present just like this. You can't use two colors when drawing with the pencil, but just highlight this one. This is important. Here this is intercellular space. Will you draw this now? Hurry up. Start it now. Right. Then let's move on to the next part. Right. Next content is the second form of the parenchyma. Actually, what happens here is this parenchyma cells can later on develop into the next stage, or whenever the plant need kind of extra support, right, extra strength, these intercellular spaces will be filled with another substance. Basically, that is also the cellulose, though we call the another substance. Filling with the cellulose, this primary cell wall become thick, right? When it's becoming thick, the cell gradually takes kind of polygonal shape, right, as they are thickening. And also we can see tapering ends, so the thick corners become thick. So what happens here? The intercellular spaces will disappear. Then intercellular spaces are not seen in these tissues. They are called collenchyma tissues, right? The second adaptation or the second form, second stage of intercellular, the plant tissues, collenchyma. Now let's see these features, these things, features, adaptations, functions, and distribution of collenchyma tissues. Right. Here it is. You can see this part, the page 2, collenchyma tissue. Here, this is how the collenchyma tissue is seen. Basically, they are very tightly packed, and thick corners are seen, and gradually they have taken kind of polygonal shape. This is how we can highlight the points. Thick primary wall is seen, and still it is primary wall. Remember, that is not a secondary wall. Although there's a thickening took place, we don't call it secondary thickening, right? Secondary thickening, but it is also called primary wall. Nucleus is seen, vacuoles are seen. Means the tissue is still in living condition, still living, right? Nucleus and vacuole means living processes are continuing in this. Next, thick corners. Particular point, we have to highlight this fact. Last one, they are tightly packed. These are the features. Next, you can see a kind of diagonal section of this. They look like that. From side we can see just like this, and from top we can see it like that. Write them down. Write the features. Collenchyma cells have thick cellulose cell walls. Collenchyma cells have thick cellulose cell walls. Thick cellulose cell walls. Collenchyma cells have thick cellulose cell walls which are thickened at corners. Which are thickened at corners. At the corners. Which are thickened at the corners. Right? Then let's write the functions. There's another point. I think there are 3 rules provided. Only 1 point is given. Do you have any extra rule remain? Right, in that rule, just add a point and write this. Add new point and write. Intercellular air spaces are absent. Intercellular air spaces are absent. Intercellular air spaces are absent. Right. Functions. Number 1. Supporting and strengthening tissue. Supporting and strengthening tissue. And photosynthesis. Supporting and strengthening tissue and photosynthesis. Supporting and strengthening tissue and photosynthesis. Next, before this we can discuss how they provide this extra support, and because of these thick corners and thick walls, they are stronger than the normal parenchyma cells. You can easily understand that difference when you think about the leaf blade. I mean the blade of the leaf, that soft part of the leaf, and the midrib. Right? When you take a leaf, there are the blade means that flat part, and these are the ribs. The midrib is this, no? And the stalk. Comparatively, stalk is strong than the leaf blade, right? But it is not too much strong, right? You can't use that one just like a stick or something. Even on sand, you can't draw something from this, no? It's not hard. That's not woody, but it is comparatively strong. Soft but strong. That means it provides kind of support, not purely mechanical support, but extra support can be provided by that. And as they are green, right, even in the herbal plants, herbaceous small plants, we can see green stems. Green stem means presence of chlorophyll. Presence of chlorophyll means they can do photosynthesis. Simple. Okay, go to the next. Adaptations. Here are the adaptations, right? Number 1, polygonal shape cells. What is the advantage provide? You can see, no? Polygonal shape cells, they provide kind of extra support because they are tightly packed. Other one is thick corners provide the mechanical strength. Thick corners, they are given in the tube, right? Next one, unevenly thickened walls. If they are evenly thickened, they can't be flexible. I mean, they can't bend. But as we know, the stems of the herbal plants or the midrib, they are, or the stalk of the leaf, they are flexible. That flexibility comes with the uneven thickness. If they are evenly thickened, sometimes the flexibility will not receive. Therefore, they provide support and with the flexibility. Right? Okay. Those are the adaptations. Let's see where they have distributed. Distribution. Number one, these herbaceous plants, they are stem. This green stem and these stalks are made of collenchyma. Second, angles of stems. This is the angle of a stem where the leaf is attached. This part also flexible, right? If they usually make with kind of a strong tissue, they can easily break and detach from the plant when in a strong wind or something, right? But as they are flexible, they can bend or they can face strong winds and such things. Next one, the midrib, is midrib of the leaf. And the last, this part of a fruit, it is called the skin of the fruit, right? The skin is made of collenchyma. That is comparatively strong. We all know this. Right? When you eat an apple, you know the crust is the little bit hard one to chew. Mid part is soft. No? In this mango also the story is same. I will zoom. Wait a bit. I think it was tugged. 1 minute. Wait a moment. Right. Here you can see. Clearly we can see the green stem, soft stem. This is the angle of stem. Here it is the midrib and the skin. Right. Write the distribution now. Herbaceous plant stem. There are 4 points given. Herbaceous plant stem. Number 2, midrib of leaves. Midrib of leaves. Midrib of leaves. Next, angles of a stem. Angles of a stem. Next, fruit skin. Fruit skin. Okay. Then we have to draw the figure before moving to the next. Let's draw rough diagram of a collenchyma tissue. Polygonal shaped cells, right? Don't draw exactly pentagon or hexagonal ones, right? Just draw kind of polygonal shaped ones. As it comes, you can draw, right? They looks like polygonal, seems like this. Enough. And also we can see thick corners, very special. Highlight the thick corners, make them thick. First see how I am drawing this, right? Make the corners thick by coloring like this, thick corners. Just like this. And nucleus is clearly seen, and vacuoles not large as the parenchyma cells. Vacuoles are small, comparatively small, right? And only one thing we need to highlight in this also, that is thick corners. Right, start it. Start drawing. Do you want more time? Yeah, no? Take your time. Right. Then this is the second level or the second adaptation of parenchyma to collenchyma. The cells can develop. Further, then they are slightly adapted for the support. In some occasions, the plants need kind of, I mean, the mechanical supports, right? Especially the woody plants need that. The timber which these furnitures are made of, right? They are also plant tissues, right? And they are really strong. Think about coconut shell, part of a plant. Coconut shell also are a kind of tissue, right? When compared to that two, that is very strong. So the third one is the sclerenchyma, sclerenchymus tissue. Then how it's changed? In a sclerenchyma tissue, when forming this sclerenchyma tissue, new substance form over this, right? Still we can see cellulose in the cell wall, right? Cellulose is carbohydrate type, we have studied in grade 10. So second layer deposit something like a wax. This deposition is called lignin. Lignin make the walls evenly thickened. That means with that they will lose the flexibility. Got it? Furnitures are not flexible. If they are flexible, actually we can't use them. No? Basically, I mean, for different tasks we use. Think about the toothpicks, right? They are strong. But you can't use the plant stalk, or I mean the leaf stalk, as a toothpick. Flexible. There is a kind of extra strength, mechanical support comes. Other feature is, as the lignin deposited, it lost the permeability. Permeability means ability to pass something through that. Losses the permeability. When they lost the permeability, that means the materials will not exchange. So nucleus disappear and the vacuoles disappear. Cells die. Right? In a sclerenchyma tissue, you can see dead cells. Got it? Right. Then that is what happening, and these cells have some special things. I will highlight those things, and there are some holes remain sometimes to exchange the materials. Exchange means especially to flow the water or such things through this, and we call them pits. And also to give extra strength, something called the sclerites form in them. We can talk about that one. Now I'll erase this diagram because we have to draw a clear diagram thereafter. Right, let's move on to the sclerenchyma tissue. Right, features, adaptations, functions, and distribution can be studied then. Right. You can't see that. Wait till I switch on that one. Okay. Then a sclerenchyma tissue. Look at the nature of the tissue. Slightly it has less greeniness. Normally they look brown, right? Because as the chlorophyll is absent in them, we can't see them as green color ones. Secondary cell wall has deposited. That is called, that's made of lignin. We call lignification take place, lignified. Dead cells are seen. No nucleus. And pits are seen. This is the pit. Pits are seen. And look at the nature of them. They are thick, right? Fat, tightly packed. Clearly we can see it looks like two walls, right? Hard wall and soft wall. Right. Write the features. Mature cells are dead. Mature cells are dead and have mature cells are dead and have secondary cell walls. Mature cells are dead and have secondary cell walls. Secondary cell walls thickened with secondary cell walls thickened with cellulose. Thickened with cellulose and usually impregnated with lignin. Usually impregnated with lignin. Lignin. If you want, just underline the term, the word lignin and secondary cell wall. Secondary cell wall and lignin. Highlight them. Right. Then functions. They perform purely mechanical function. Is a support in tissue in plants. Is a support in tissue in plants. Is a support in tissue in plants. Right. Hardens the seed coats and shells. Is a support in tissue in plants. Hardens the seed coats and shells. Is a support in tissue in plants and hardens the seed coats and shells. Right. See particular adaptations. Number one, lignified secondary wall. It's very special. Giving extra support. Second, sclerites. I said that. So we can feel this sclerite, presence of sclerites when eating pears. Right? I think you might have tasted the pears. When we are eating that, something like stone or the sandy thing, chewing with it. That's the particular nature of the pears. No? Right? In guava also we can see it, but not much distributed. Clearly we can get that feeling by eating the pears. That part, that sandy things are the sclerites. Right? Pears pith is made of parenchyma. Right? Pith is made of parenchyma cells. But that sclerites distribute just spreaded somewhere at some places. And those are the sclerites. You can see that in this diagram here. You can see sclerites. Right. Then those things are described here. You can see in page number 3. Lignified secondary cell walls and presence of sclerites. The features I explained are given here. Now let's see where we can see them. Here these are dates and date seeds, coffee seeds, guava seeds. Those seeds have kind of extra hardness because of this tissue, right? Which tissue? Sclerenchyma tissue. Second example, this cotton or coconut fibers, they are also made of the same stuff. I mean the sclerenchyma tissue. And the next, coconut shell. Pith is made of parenchyma, but the shell is made of collenchyma. And the last, pears, sclerites. I will zoom it. I don't know whether we'll stuck. No, not stuck. Here you can see. These are the sclerites, right? Seen in the pears. Not in pears, in all the sclerenchyma, in each and every place of the sclerenchyma tissue, we can see the sclerites to give extra strength. Right, the places distribution. Coconut fibers and coconut wool. Or not coconut wool, cotton wool. Coconut fibers and cotton wool. Coconut fibers and cotton wool. Second, seed coat of coffee and dates. Seed coat of coffee and dates. Seed coat of coffee and dates. Third, pericarp of guava and pears. Pericarp of guava and pears. Then the last, endocarp of mango coconut. Endocarp of mango coconut. And mango, just change it please. Cut off mango and write custard fruit instead of that. Not custard, not custard apple. Marmelos. Marmelos. Instead of mango, write marmelos. I think you know the marmelos. In Sinhala we call it belly. Yellow color fruit which has hard outer cover. Right? Marmelos. That's okay. Right. Let's move on to the next one. Yes, distribution. Thereafter, complex permanent tissues. Right. I will start this description with kind of video. Okay. Complex permanent tissues means, right, the cells with two or more mm, cells in one tissue, right? Complex means that there are different types of I mean the cells present in that. Some cells are dead cells, some are living cells. That is another particular feature. Dead and living cells can be seen. Okay, right. I will show you a kind of a video. Through this video, we can discuss this. It takes a small time to load this. Wait a bit till I find it. Right.
Xylem
Right. You
vessels.
can see this.
In the movement of water, upwards.
Okay. Here, look at that. Okay. Uh, watch this. In plant stem, when you go deep into the plant stem, we can see the water transportation. We are starting here from the roots. You can see in roots the water will be absorbed into the roots through osmosis process, and we can see this in the roots and the plant stem. The tissue is called the xylem. Uh, function of the xylem tissue is water transportation. Right, water will be transport from xylem to upwards. Therefore, in xylem tissue we can see one-way flow of water. The power or the force given to the water by the root pressure and the transpiration pull. Right, leaves pull the water up, roots push water up, push and pull. Due to the pressure difference, water flow as a column of water through these pipes. In xylem is look like kind of continuous pipes or tubes. Right, I think you can see water flow in this animation. How does the water flowing here? Then we can see a kind of zoom view here with features. What are the features seen in the xylem? I will play this. Wait a bit. Wait a moment. Okay. Right now we can see this zoom view. Tissue vessels. Right. Those are the vessels. They look like the pipes. And also there are some tiny ones, tapering ones you can see close to that. They are called the tracheids. Tracheids are small. I will show you a clear video, the picture after this. Can you see the tracheids then? They are highlighted in this video. Tracheids and the vessels. And there are cells in between this. Look at these thick walls. Those cells are dead cells. I mean the vessels and tracheids are dead. Right? But those ones are attached by the parenchyma or maybe collenchyma or sclerenchyma cells. Especially the parenchyma or sclerenchyma cells are seen in the places like the leaves or that veins of the leaves, midrib of the leaves. Some cells are attached to that. Therefore, this tissue is a combination of different type of cells. Combination of different type of cells. That's why we call it as a complex tissue. Complex tissue. Right. So you can see the holes in that, look at the distribution. It is distributed in roots, stem, branches, leaves, right? Can be distributed because it distribute water or provide water to each and every place. Only one fact you have to remember always: there is only one way flow of water. Always water flow one way, upwards, or not upwards actually. It is from high pressure to low pressure. High pressure to low pressure. Those are the features, the factors we have to remember about this. Let's go for an image here. Look at this image. In this one, you can see the nature of tracheids. They have tapering ends or narrow ends, but vessels look even, or they look like cylindrical shape, right? Clearly, we can see a difference here. And this is a real picture of it. Real the zoom photograph, and the size given here as the 43 micrometers. So this tube is not a big one. Its size is about micrometer size, micrometer scale. Then you can see vessels very clearly, and here these are the interconnected other cells, parenchyma or collenchyma cells, right? And this thickening, next picture shows the thickening of this, right? With lignin that is thickened, but there are holes. Holes remain. Holes are called pits, right? Remaining holes can be seen. Then the distribution. Here's the distribution. Cortex and phloem. Xylem is in the inside here. Phloem and xylem separated by this ring. It is called cambium. Right here in this picture, it's clear. Phloem and the xylem separated by the cambium. Cambium is the growth cell. Growth we call growth ring. That is the ring which the growing or the new cells are added by that. Right. That's more clear. So write the features. Xylem vessels comprise a vertical chain of xylem vessels comprise a vertical chain of lengthened dead cells. A vertical chain of lengthened dead cells. Dead cells. The secondary walls of vessels are thickened unevenly. The secondary walls of vessels are thickened unevenly with lignin. The secondary walls of vessels are thickened unevenly with lignin. With lignin. Next, a tracheid is an elongated cell. A tracheid is an elongated cell which is non-living. Which is non-living. Full stop. Walls are thickened with lignin. Walls are thickened with lignin. A tracheid is an elongated cell which is non-living. Walls are thickened with lignin. Functions. Two functions. Number one, transportation of water. Transportation of water. Number two, providing strength and flexibility to stem. Providing strength and flexibility to stem. Transportation of water. Second, providing strength and flexibility to stem. Strength and flexibility to stem. Finished. Okay. Then that adaptations are described here. Before moving to this one, let's describe the adaptations. Right. Long cells. Look at the tute. Long cells. Absence of long cells giving the effective conduction of the water through that. Absence of cytoplasm. Uh, as there are no cytoplasm in that, they make the holes, and also continuously water can flow through that. It's provide there's no obstruction or no disturbance to the water flow due to that. Pits in cell walls allow the lateral water transportation, exchanging that with the adjacent cells, nearby cells. Next one, open ends of the vessel elements. They open ends just connect the one vessel element to the next, right? Element wise, they are just like connecting some certain cylindrical parts connecting each other. So last one, patterns of the secondary thickening. Those patterns provide the flexibility and also extra support, right? I described that in the previous image, right? Then the last one, it's in page number 4, phloem tissue, right? Again, let's watch the next video to find this is about the phloem tissue. One minute. Diagram. Which diagram we just skipped? We didn't draw a diagram for the sclerenchyma tissue, no? Right. Shall we draw it now before moving to the next topic? Right. Let's draw that. We just skipped that one, the sclerenchyma tissue. Look at the nature. Polygonal shaped cells. Polygonal shaped cells. This time you have to draw evenly thickened walls. Evenly thickened ones. Right? And just show it as two walls. Secondary wall is formed around that, that is the lignin depositing here, evenly thickening, right? And between that, in some places we can see pits like this. Keep that gaps. Okay, draw it. Did you draw that? No. Let's name lignified walls, that is special. Walls and pits. Lignified. This is in page number 3, no? At the top of the page number 3. Yes. At the top of the page number 3. Draw this. Right. Do you need more time? No. Enough. Right. Let's move on to the next. Phloem tissue. Look at the video. So watch this. The particles move through the phloem. Actually, they are solid particles, probably flowing as a sap. Sap is a thick sap here. I just want to highlight some particular features here. Wait a bit. So we can see these features. I'm replaying this. Look at these features. So basically we can see it also like tubes, but in between these tube or these elements there are parts called the plates, small plates with holes. They look like the sieves. Sieve means kind of device which has holes. We use sieves in our kitchen also to separate the large particles from the small particles, especially when separating the large particles of the flour, right? Flour types, right, can be separated by the sieves. You know that device, no? Just by putting the flour into that, we shake it. That's why we call it's called the sieve. In Sinhala, we call it penera. I don't know Tamil term. Okay. So somehow that type of plates is seen. Therefore, these vessels or these elements, the cylindrical shaped ones, are called the sieve elements. Sieve elements are interlocking or they're just connecting one to another. Watch the video, the rest of the video. Right now you can see how the material is flowing. I will show you more clear view than that. Look at this. So wait till I load the next 3D view. Look at this view. It's very clear. The phloem and xylem both are seen in this. Phloem is in one side. So we are talking about the phloem here. Can you see the sieve elements and sieve plates here? There are some barriers just like the walls. These are the sieve tube members or the sieve elements. They are connected by the sieve plates. In between these ones, the sieve areas are highlighted here. Now you can see the sieve areas. And in between them, we can see that companion cells, especially they are parenchyma cells, right? The sieve tubes or sieve elements are non-living, but the companion cell is living, because through this one the plants translocate food, solid substance. Most probably this process is an active process. It need energy. That energy is provided by the companion cells. Sucrose and water both transport through this. Right. Next feature. Sucrose is entering, and sucrose means the food. Food is transported through this, and by the photosynthesis glucose is produced, but glucose convert to sucrose when transporting. So water and sucrose both transport as a sap here, mixture of that. So this animation shows it very clearly. And when talking about the xylem, we discussed water transport only one direction, from high pressure to low pressure through the xylem. But in phloem tissue, materials can transport to both the directions. It's an active process, right? We can nicely compare it just like this. Normally, when we think about our taps and the tanks in the houses, from tank to tap, water is coming. It's a passive process, right? Nobody spend energy for that under gravity. It's just flow from high pressure to low pressure. When you open the tap, it comes. But if you not need to store water in the tank, if you want to send the water into tank, you can't do it in the same manner. No, if you hold a cup of water into the tap, it will not go up into the tank. In that case, we need a pump or something. Energy is needed. Therefore, we need to give energy. That should be an active process, right? Therefore, in that active process, we can send the materials up or down or anywhere. It doesn't matter. High pressure to low pressure or low pressure to high pressure. No problem there, right? So likewise, we call it as this phloem transportation occurs both directions, upward, downwards, right? And I think this is almost over. Let's go to the explanation here. Look at the nature of the phloem. We can easily notice this is a very clear diagram. Same black and white figure is given in the tute. You can see that CU element here. This is the CU plate, and these are the companion cells. And companion cells provide the energy needed for the translocation. This is called translocation of the materials, right? Previous one we wrote it as the transportation of water. This is translocation of sucrose. Next, distribution is same. You can see it is distributed in the plant stem, and xylem is inside that ring, and the phloem is the outside one, separated by the cambium. Right? Shall we write them? Okay, let's go to the. It should be phloem and not the page 3. This is a mistake actually. Page 4, phloem. Write this. A CU tube is a series of cells. A CU tube is a series of cells within bracket CU elements. Series of cells within bracket CU elements joined end to end. Joined end to end. Joined end to end. Next, companion cells are specialized parenchyma cells. 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 Parenchyma cells. There should be a full stop here, not a comma. Full stop. Next point. They are also elongated. They are also elongated, and there is a distinct nucleus. They are also elongated, and there is a distinct nucleus. There is a distinct nucleus. Right. Next. The cell walls are thin. The cell walls are thin. Next, functions. Only one function. Translocation of food. Translocation of food. Right. So let's talk the adaptations finally. There are many mitochondria in these parenchyma cells. You can understand the reason, because this is an active process. If it is an active process, mitochondria can provide the energy. Mitochondria does the what we call the cellular respiration. Therefore, they provide that energy. Therefore, many mitochondria are seen in this. There's another particular one called the plasmodesmata. Right? They are the barriers. Those barriers, so that the CU plates, and nearby the CU plates we can see them, to distribute the sucrose evenly. Right? Even distribution of sucrose is the, or the just can contain large amount of the sap in it. That's the advantage of that. Last one, the long CU tube elements. They can attach as a tube to transport, or translocate food from to both sides. And remember this kind of places. During the photosynthesis, leaves produce glucose. Glucose will be converted to sucrose and transported into the fruits or yams. Fruits or yams. Sometimes the yams are situated downward, in the ground level. Therefore, leaves to ground. And when plant needed that stored energy back, that means if they need the starch again, the starch will be converted to sucrose and come up, can be taken up. Therefore, through phloem, the translocation take place downwards, upward, or across. Okay, right. This is the end, and that's what we plan to do. 1.1, the plant tissues. And final thing, from next year onward, you can watch these videos by visiting to our website. Will be launched next year. Now still it is in the under construction. You can just type the web address in mobile phones or somewhere in Google search or somewhere. It's the www.sitetime.lk. Just type and see. It will show you under construction or coming soon or something. So next year onwards, all the videos you can see or the watch from one location. Therefore, worksheet also you can watch through that. I will upload this as a free video. So directly I will upload the link to the WhatsApp group and the worksheet. Right, tomorrow morning you can see the worksheet and the video. If you want to share it, share with anyone. From the next video onwards, we will put the restrictions. Right, let's put it as a free video then. Okay, that's all. Again, next week also you can come to the physical class. Please, before come to the physical class, complete the worksheet and come. Online students, you have to complete the worksheet during this week, and you must attend the Zoom meeting on Friday 5 o'clock. Right, stand up all. Okay, goodbye everybody. Okay, have a nice week.